This is exciting. Blackmagic made a box camera. Not only did they make a box camera, they enhanced it. Man, this thing is freaking awesome. I watched the presentation on this thing and I was like, wow, you know? I thought about that Panasonic box camera. I remember when it came out, I was like, why? There's no screen, there's no nothing. They could have did like red, nari, and put like a little screen on there. So box camera wasn't a thing I really thought about. But these days, the more and more I get into video, it's like you could utilize one of those things and rig it up and get some good functionality out of it. Especially now as I travel around, it's like, yeah, I could carry a smaller box. I have to carry the screens around with me. I can put them on there and, just go from right. Let's just go from there. So in today's video, we're going to talk about this new Blackmagic PYXIS 6K and contrast that and what I'm hoping to get from Nikon's combination with Red, and that's getting together. Maybe we can see something from them in NAB. Who knows? So we know Blackmagic's been doing a pocket cinema camera for a few years, and they had a 6K, the 4K, and then a 6K G2, and there's a new full frame version that just came out. From what I'm seeing, it seems like they're utilizing that same sensor inside this new body, which isn't a bad thing. I think a number of Blackmagic users have been asking for this kind of camera for years. And I think the whole idea behind it is something you could rig up and that you could take around. I know they have a similar box camera for like studios, but this thing is like a whole other design. You can rig it up and use an external EVF, which looks really awesome on it. And I think, most of us that are shooting videos outside, you need to have a big screen that can handle the sunlight or an EVF. And this EVF on this thing looks really cool. Now it comes in a couple of different mounts. You have the PL mount, the EF mount. I think it's like a lock-in EF, and a L mount model. Before you go any further, let's contrast that. If Nikon got something from the collaboration with Red and made something on the hybrid side, we could be looking at a box camera like that. If you watch my past video, I think it was last year sometime, I put something out and I was saying, hey, maybe Nikon could do a cinema camera, but what kind of style would we really see? Would be box, something like the FX 330 or, like the C300, C500 series of camera, or even the C70. One of the things I've always wanted is like a bigger screen on the back of the camera. And let's use this for example. So this is slightly smaller than the iPhone, right? This is the Atomos Ninja. And it's a recorder. Units on the back. So this is a 5.2-inch screen. And the screen on the new PYXIS is 4-inch. Not a bad design. It's a pretty decent size. And I've been saying if Nikon can come up with a 4-inch screen on their camera that can flip forward, that would be cool. The picture we saw the Z6 III, there's some what look like one hole. I guess there's some holes. There was only one from that little corner picture that seemed as though there's a mounting point on there. I was measuring my Z8, stick this on the back of the iPhone. And so I'm like, if that camera could be a little bit wider with a 4-inch screen on the back that flips out, that would be awesome. But now I'm thinking, if they made some kind of cinema style, whether it be similar to the C70, and the C70 is kind of big, but maybe not that big. But the whole idea is to stretch the height. You have the EVF. Take away the EVF because you're not really looking at making it a hybrid camera in the sense of you're taking photos and videos. You're doing it as more of a video first and photography second, like distance second, like the FX30, like 1 frame per second. Have a viewfinder, electronic viewfinder that you can stick on the top when you need to, but you extend the height of the body pretty much all the way up toward the viewfinder. And that footprint would be a good enough size that you can stick a bigger size screen on the back of the camera. Of course, make it slightly wider as well. So if it's a 4-inch screen, that would fit back there. It can tilt out on a mechanism like the A7R5. You can pull off the body of the camera, and the second portion can flip around and tilt, multi-angle, wherever you want to put it. So that, I think, would make sense for Nikon to do from a perspective of, hey, this is going to be our first one. We wanted to make it really great. And of course, add a fan onto it. If they're doing the menu system, I would like to see something in a Blackmagic Design, the OS, where it's kind of like those tiles that you have, you touch whatever you want to get underneath there. If Nikon could do something similar like that, like when you flip the switch to the video side, it's like a whole different menu. Now, I know it may not be the best thing because Canon is doing it in the R5C, and when you flip it, it takes a while to boot into a different operating system because they separate out the photo and the video. But if Nikon can work some magic and make it like instantaneous startup, it's always like on, ready to go. You flip it, it just flips over to the new thing. One of the things that people worry about when you're shooting video is something that can last for a long period of time. And having something with a good battery life, yeah, that's important. As we know, Nikon is either using the EN-EL4 or the EN-EL15. The 4 is the longer one inside the professional bodies. If they make something that can fit that battery inside of it, so you can have something that works for a long period of time, yes, it will add to the weight of the camera, but at the same time, you have something that can last for a long shooting session. If they're going to use the same EN-EL15, I think they should come up with a totally different battery that can last even longer than that, because for video purposes, you don't have to carry a whole bunch of batteries. If you have something long, let's say last for 2 hours, and then you can flip it out, put another one in. We know we have the USB-C that works, that helps out, so that's a good thing. But man, I'm really excited about what this camera has when I look at it, and the buttons on the side and what you can do with it, and it's just it's an awesome looking box. It's not that big. You saw one of the photos when they have, and let me show it to you. They have the iPhone strapped onto the side to utilize that for your 4G, 5G signals, so you can stream things to the cloud. Look at the size of the camera as far as the length of it. So we call it a box, but it's more rectangle. And that's not bad. Having a bigger screen on the side, you can access your menu, you can do all that, is kind of cool. And most people are going to put a screen on top with the handle, without the handle. If you're going to carry it around, you probably want the handle. If you're going to mount it on a tripod, you don't need that. You're good to go. Nikon, if you could do something along those lines, fine. If you can't, and you do something more like the Pocket Cinema 6K cameras, 4K cameras, that would be cool also. It's just, I think as more people focus on the content creator side, there seems to be more on the video and filmmaking. And I guess the money is on that side. People spend more on that front. But then you have your smaller creators who are moving out and working with hybrid cameras, who want something that can record, and you want to double up. I want to shoot a wedding. You want something to last a little bit longer than that, and having cooling in it, that's a big thing. A bigger screen that you can see when you're outside, that's a big thing. But as we know, brighter screen means it's using more battery power, and you have to balance that out. So I don't know. From what we've seen with Nikon so far, what they've given us, I mean, the potential is there for them to use different kind of battery. And I think this kind of boxy or rectangular design kind of makes sense. But I would like, how Blackmagic have that screen there and it's kind of built into the body. If they could make that where it could flip out and tilt around like they do on the Ursic model, that would be kind of cool. 4-inch and a small thing like that. Make it for the smaller content creator that knows a bit more about stuff, but you're a solo shooter, doing your own thing. Or if you're shooting videos and you want to put it on a gimbal or one of those rigs, you're not going like really deep in the weeds, but then you could also make a version that is going to satisfy those other guys who want like the next level thing, but still not ready for red price point. So let me know what you guys think. Have you seen the PYXIS launch? Do you like that style? Do you like the designer body? Do you think Nikon should do something along those lines? Or should they keep with their Z8 hybrid style body, or even like the FX30, maybe a bit bigger, taller. Well, I would say Z8 size body with a fan on the back of it. If you could put in built-in ND filters, be fine. Flip out screen. Yeah. Let me know your choice and what you want to see. I'd be interested to hear from you guys who shoot video and what you're looking for Nikon to produce in their hybrid space or cinema camera space. Not Red, but Nikon.